Welcome to the Honest Hour. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo, and today we got quite a bit to talk about. So the topics for today is AOC running for president in 2024, question mark. And then we also have California liberals are mad at right-wing militia. And then we have some fun topics to have everybody come in and have a discussion about, and that is men have failed the West, polygamy is the future, and individualism is hurting the West. Oh, please now. So let's jump right into it. So there are rumors circulating that AOC may be running in 2024. And that isn't surprising at all, being that she would be 35 by the time if she were to win, by the time she'd be sworn in. Polygamy was a norm in the mass or a norm. I don't see it overtaking monogamy. We'll see. I think so. So AOC, love her or hate her, she's a brilliant marketer. This is huge, right? She's very good. So the other day, we saw that they allegedly got arrested, but we noticed that she was not handcuffed. But in all the photo ops that were the mainstream media, you saw her, boom, hands behind her back. Everybody got the snaps, got the pics that they wanted for the mainstream media, and they used it everywhere, saying that she was arrested. Great publicity. She is a walking meme, but Donald Trump was also a walking meme, a good marketer. And so that's what AOC is doing. She is brilliant at marketing. She is compromised. She's a legitimate actor. Okay? She went to audition, then got the role to run for Congress. So I get it. I'm not a fan of AOC. I'm just saying that she has a lot of leverage, a lot of political leverage, a lot of youngsters like her. And the way that she is, he is, right? So she is doing everything in her power. Basically, she's going to do what Bernie Sanders couldn't do, in my opinion, right? She is Latina. She is, she's a woman, right? She's young. She's progressive. She's for these social agendas, which a lot of young people are in favor of today. So could you imagine her going up against the regular Republicans? She would probably not do well on an intellectual level, right, on debates, but she would do well in a rhetorical sense. And she would be able to wield her femininity in her to her advantage. And a lot of people would like that. I mean, she is an attractive woman. Okay. So if you have an attractive young leader, I think people, especially in the Gen Z and, millennials will appreciate that. Yes, I know. I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. I'm not saying, will Kamala Harris sleep your way? Right. I mean, she might, right? She hasn't so far. No stories have come out as far as that goes. And so, I think that we might see AOC running in 2024. She's probably going to have some big money behind her because she is pushing the progressive agenda hardcore. And she may be the one to do it. And for everybody that's saying her own party doesn't like her, you want to say, you're not paying attention to the fact that the Democratic Party is changing just as much as the Republican Party is changing, okay? The old heads in the Democratic Party are getting booted, and they're being replaced by a bunch of progressive, hardcore leftists. And then the Republican Party, they're at a crossroads as well. Do they try to remain their neocon traditional conservative, or do they go to the more nationalistic MAGA movement? So there's a rift within the Republican Party. What we're witnessing right now is a split between the parties inside, and they're going to morph into something else. This has happened before. And this is what we're witnessing. And AOC would be a good candidate for the Democratic Party, because who else do they have, realistically? Who else do they have? Hillary Clinton's talking about running again. Nobody wants Hillary Clinton to run again. But she's still running again. So that's pretty intense. So AOC is probably going to run in 2024 for the Democratic Party. I could be wrong. We'll see. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good.
Those rumors are going around if Biden, still happens to Biden, whether he croaks, God forbid that he doesn't, or gets kicked out by the Republicans, they win win this fall, but the 25th Amendment, they say they're going to skip over Kamala and Pelosi and put Newsom in, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, so that's another
God
person
help-
that they're looking
God
at. Is
help us.
Yeah, so that's another person is Gavin Newsom. But I think AOC is looked at more favorably among the nation as a whole than Gavin Newsom is. I think it's going to be very hard for Gavin Newsom to win. But we'll see. I mean, we already know that a lot of this is not very organic. We'll just put it that way.
You have to admit, AOC is an attractive Latina woman.
Yeah, I mean, she is attractive. She's young, and she's pushing the progressive movement. She's probably going to get a lot of money behind her. So I think that Gavin Newsom's going to have a hard chance against AOC if AOC does run. This isn't even official, guys. I've just heard rumors, and I think that there's a good possibility she will run. And I think that she would do much better than Kamala Harris. I think she'll do much better than Hillary Clinton. But we'll see.
I Googled the top 10 Democratic candidates, and they said AOC is the number 10 on the list. Then they have Hillary, Kamala, Biden, Newsom, and all the other cronies.
Right. Well, nobody wants Hillary Clinton. We already saw that. Nobody wants Kamala Harris, right? So who's the next best chance to bring in a to set a new mile marker, right? The Democrats already sent a new historical a moment when Kamala Harris was vice president. But Kamala Harris was not favorable in the Democratic primaries back in 2020. Nobody really liked her. But people really do like AOC. The youngsters really like AOC. The Young Turks promote AOC, right? So, like, you're going to get a lot of grassroots, allegedly, movements supporting AOC, I think. Once again, guys, I'm not saying I'm a fan of AOC. I'm not a leftist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just looking at this thing like, who are the Democrats going to put up? Because 75, a poll just came out today, I think it's 74, 75% of Democrats do not want Joe Biden to run in 2024.
I agree there. I'm more of a, now I come to think of it, I'm more of a JFK person. His political view.
Okay. Yeah.
He seemed like he was very smart on. But I think the reason he may have got is because he wanted to. I think America wanted to go into war with Cuba because of the crisis, and he wanted to stop it. And the party didn't like that, and for many reasons, they assassinated him.
Right on. Okay, gotcha. So,
and I do, and I watched when he was a Democrat. I'm going, nah, he's not that great of a guy. Then I started watching documentaries and shows about him, and I go, wow, JFK was a great guy. He was a great guy. He was a very smart man.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an opinion you can have. That's for sure. A lot of people like JFK. But yeah, I know a lot of people are saying in the chat too. So, but anything else that you want to discuss?
Yeah, the Republican Party is anybody can run. DeSantis, Trump. They say Pitts may run.
Okay.
I don't know who else. I haven't Googled that yet, and that'd be something to Google to find out. And AOC has a lot of energy, so she probably get. If she don't win the electoral, she'll probably win the popular. If she's the nominee.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see though. But yeah, man.
I think they need to get rid of the electoral college. It's just I'm coming to think of it. It don't the electors count our votes and we don't get our votes are not really counted. They go in there and get our votes and they just it's like a drawn a straw.
Yeah, well, the electoral college is needed once you have such a lopsided country as we do, where most of the population resides on the coast. So all you would have to do is focus on the coastal states and you could win the popular vote. And then regardless of the fact that most of America would vote the other way, doesn't matter because the population is just outnumbers the inner America from the coastal side. So you need the Electoral College to balance it out.
Right. I understand. It's just the way it works. It's in the Constitution. If you want to, if people, man, they need to do a go by the states and get the amendment, get the Constitution changed. Get rid of it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What would you replace it with?
I don't know. That's the only.
So why do you want to get rid of it if you don't know what to replace it with? That'll create anarchy, man. Why would you support that?
It would have created. It would have created a lot of anarchy.
In which that isn't good. That means you and your family's life will be in jeopardy constantly.
What about the Supreme Court of the United States? They have all these every summer. They have all these big decisions they need to make about upholding the law, not making laws, but trying to uphold it and go by with the Constitution. I believe in these big decisions. They make these big decisions. I think it should be on live TV and hear both sides arguing, and their decision. Have them talk about it before they go and make the speech.
You can watch the debates over the bills on C-SPAN, right? C-SPAN covers this stuff live. Right.
I want to see the SCOTUS do their thing live when they make a decision.
Yeah.
So we all know. So we all know what's going on. A lot of people don't know what the Supreme Court's about. It's about to make laws, and I think people should.
Well, they don't make laws. They
interpret law. They interpret laws.
Yes. So legislative branch makes laws, executive branch enforces laws, judicial branch just make sure that things are in the Constitution. They do legal shit. they're
supposed to interpret it, not make laws. They're supposed to interpret the laws, not make laws. But I still hope they start doing a better job of interpreting the laws, and they just like shoving stuff down people's throat when it's not a law.
Right. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming up here. I'm gonna get you out of here. Cover up some other topics.
That's why I'm saying that it should be televised, like regular court, like televised on TV, so we'll know what they're doing, and they can that's the people they can answer to.
Right on, man. So appreciate you sharing your opinions. Appreciate you coming on here. You have a good day.
Cheers.
All right. So now let's cover the other topic that we got in here. Well, first off, we have somebody that says term limits for SCOTUS. I don't think so. I think that there shouldn't be. I'm all for politicians being in there for life. I think that would help tremendously. A president for life, congressman for life, Supreme Court for life. Oh, why is it that always we say polygamy is the future? I don't know why you think I'm weird, but that's okay. I mean, I'll explain why. I'm not saying that I want to have multiple wives. I'm perfectly fine with my one wife. But there are definitely, that's mega deriding behavior. Holy sh! You're just a troll. We're going to get all the trolls out of here. Bye. That will lead to what Russia has. Yeah, and Russia's doing much better than we are. They're on the rise and we're on the fall. So, and Russia is a monogamous society by and large, but they accept the fact that, if you have money, you have power, you can be resourceful. Why can't you have more than one wife? I mean, you don't even need those things to have more than one wife, but it definitely makes it easier if you have the resources to raise multiple families, right? Life leaves it up for corruption. Yeah, but, there's corruption and democracy in the republic. So how's it going?
Yeah, how are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing all right.
Right on. So what do you want to talk about?
I'm the second to last one, the one right above your Cash App.
Individualism is hurting the West?
Yeah.
All right.
So if I'm an individualist, I would say, I've always been kind of like a nonconformist, I would say. But I mean, the only reason why individualism ultimately hurts the West, in my eyes, is for this simple reason: is because if our society had a society of people capable of critical thinking and capable of balancing a checkbook and investing in money management and learning how to run a business, and we taught those things in schools, they wouldn't be able to pump out obedient workers. Like, that's why it appears to be hurting it. But if we had an actual real structured system where the wealth was distributed evenly and it was equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome, then it would be a lot better. Individualism is only perceived as hurting society because if you don't conform, you don't have any success. But the nonconformists you always see are the people like Elon Musk and the people that are born into money. That's who you see that is the nonconformist, because they are born into wealth. Billionaires by design are nonconformists.
Okay.
I mean, individualism kind of, like, every person who's ever come up with anything that we use today, like phone or Apple, like that company Apple, or like a vape pen, or like anything like that, anybody who's ever come up with anything had to not be a conformist. That's the whole thing.
To a certain extent,
they would, if they were a conformist, they would have never came up with the idea. If they were a conformist, they would have just said, "Oh, I'll just take this 9 to 5 and I'll continue to do what I do. I'm not going to build this computer or this company in my garage, and I'm going to try and see if it'll work." And then eventually it becomes the biggest phone company in the world. If they were a conformist, that would have never happened.
Yeah, it's not true. They're still conformists, just in a different level of society, which we're not evolved in. That's all. Because they can't get their money from investors without being a conformist. They're just conforming to other rules and norms that you're not a part of. So are they conforming to society as the normal people do? Of course not. I agree with you there. However, there's another layer to society, which they then have to say, I need your money so that way I can build rocket ships that, as Trump says, go to nowhere. So I need your money so I can do this. I need your money to make electric cars. I need your money to make a tunnel. So give me your money. Or they go to governments. So they are conforming to somebody. They're not individual. They're not radical individualist. And even though they were born with money, you still need to get people under your wing, right? So you still need to form some sort of community to do anything. So hyper-individualism leads to anarchy, and anarchy is hell.
Okay. Well, I mean, they didn't. I mean, I'm a Marxist myself, but when it comes down to, like, they didn't conform because they're part of different standards or whatever. Time that they were making and innovating and doing what they were doing, it was seen as like something that you didn't do. They were not having the 9 to 5. So technically, in the time they were doing it, yes, now they are conforming.
No, they always have been. That's what I'm telling you. It's at a different level, though. It's at a different level that they were conforming, right? So I own a business, so I understand this too. Like, I'm nowhere near as successful as a Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, obviously. However, I have to ingratiate myself in a community of other business owners that can then offer me referrals, that we can then work together. I then have to get on the phone. Like, I'm a part of a different, like, part of society. So just because you're not conforming to one part of society is big, man. There's a bunch of different little microcosms in society as a whole, in the Western society. So you're going to be a part of one of them. And then if you become this hyper-individualist, you become this lone wolf that is doing your own thing. Well, if you're always going to do your own thing over everybody else, well, then you can never have a community. And if you can't have a community, you can't build anything.
Well, some people don't need a community.
Everybody needs a community. That's an asinine thought. Nobody survives without a community.
Not necessarily, because you can still live in the society and in the system and survive.
Yeah, so then you need a society to survive. So the society is going to provide you with the needs, with the things that you need to survive. So you still need the society. There's very few people who can go out and live out. There's very few people who can go out and live out in the woods by themselves. And if they do, they've kind of lost life, man. Like life is about interacting with other people, making more people, and bringing good into the world. You can't really bring good into the world if you go out into the wilderness and just live by yourself. That's hyper individualism.
What my whole thing is like human beings are naturally made to exploit and kind of destroy the places they're living in. So why are we even bothering to try and bring good?
That's insane. That's an insane perspective to have. Humans are made to create things, beautiful things.
Well, through creating things, they exploit the earth and the resources, therefore destroying
Not really. I mean, what is the tree doing? The tree's somebody else's home already. The raccoon exploits the tree for making it its home. The bird exploits the tree in the
But it also
trash.
gives back.
As can your home. Like, your argument is kind of nonsense, and everything is exploiting everything.
Not necessarily. Well, I mean, it's only nonsense because you refuse to see it from my point of view.
Well, you refuse to see the world for how it is. A bird, I can make the same argument that a bird is exploiting the tree.
That's your perception.
No, I'm using your perception that humans are tearing down a tree to make the home. Therefore, they're exploiting nature. They're ripping up the roots. They're destroying the things around it so that way they can build cities. Well, birds, raccoons, squirrels are also making these things their homes.
Well, they're part of
but
the
they're
ecosystem.
not. As are we.
No, we're not.
So we're different from the ecosystem? That's insane.
Because we put ourselves outside of it.
We can't. We try to, but we can't. We can't. We have to use nature to make things like cities and villages. We are a part of nature. We are not separate from nature. We are nature itself too. Just like a bird is a part of nature, we are animals as well, are we not? Therefore, we are also a part of nature. We can think we're above nature,
so if we were
but
actually a part of nature, we would realize that we're not actually at the top of the food chain.
Like who's above us? Who's above us? Who's the apex predator?
Have you ever gone on a hike and like if you go on a hike, you're more like you can't defend yourself if you don't have like a puke.
That's why we're the apex predator, because we're smarter, bro. We're smarter.
You can't defend yourself against a mountain lion.
I am smarter than a mountain lion, so therefore I know how to wield a weapon that can deter it or kill it.
You're telling me if a pack of coyotes come up on you, you're gonna stab all of them while they all converge?
I don't need to stab them. I can have a group of men with me that also have spears. Or guess what? We could have weapons. I am looking at reality. Who conquered the world? Did a damn coyote? No, this is a fact. Did coyotes conquer the world? No. Did lions conquer the world? No. Did sharks conquer the world? No. Did lions conquer the world? No. Did tigers conquer the world? No. Who has societies and cities and decides what is and what isn't?
Well, yeah,
boom,
but
humans. Because we're apex predators. Because we got big brains and strong muscles.
Why is because we know how to put things together with our hands.
Because we're smart. Do you understand that being an apex predator goes way beyond strength? If you can be smart and strong, you can be dumb and strong, you can be smart and weak, but because we have the brain power we have, we can do so many things. But yes, people are asking, can we change the topic? Is there something else that you would like to talk about on here? Because hyper-individualism leads to anarchy, and America has a total distrust in their leaders, and it's because everybody wants to do what they want to do.
Listen. So America is a falling power already, and I'm going to watch it burn, and I'm going to smile.
Are you living in America?
Huh?
I'm you in
America? Yeah.
No, are you living in America?
I don't have to disclose that information to you.
You don't, but you sound like an American, so it's pretty insane to me that an American.
Do I? Well, that's a nice assumption.
Yeah, it is. It is an assumption I make because you're too cowardly to say where you live. I live in America.
That's quite a nice assumption. I don't have to.
So that's okay. I get it. I respect it.
Right as an. It's my right as an individual.
Cool.
Not to.
You have that right. You have that right to do it. So, guess what? If you're going to sit back and watch America burn, but let's say you have family in America, well, then your family's going to perish.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound very smart to me. So why would you want to perish? Why would you want your family to perish? Assuming you live in America. But this isn't just the America. This is the West. This is the West. And you don't sound like you're from Eastern Europe. You don't sound like an Asian. You sound like somebody in the Western world. from your accent.
Well, I mean, people move. People move from America all the time.
They do, but I'm telling you where it sounds like you reside. I'm just going off of an assumption.
Where I'm originally from, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming you have roots there. And so why would you want to watch something that people you love?
Most of my family's dead.
Well, that's very unfortunate. So it sounds like you just have a very nihilistic point of view.
I am into nihilism.
Yeah, nihilism is nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to burn with America, and I'm going to laugh. Hopefully I see you burn with it.
All right. Peace out. I definitely won't be burning because the Acevedo name will live forever in perpetuity. We will never lose. If America starts to burn, we, the Acevedos, will be a part of the people to rebuild it. All right. So all empires fail. Usually something is a little better pops up, like a forest fire. Right. LOL. We got water over here. Yeah, we do got water over here. Oh, man. Dudes like that are... I agree. 100%. And that's why the Acevedo clan is going to rule supreme over the half of the United States we're in. Capitalism is the best. I don't know. Dude acts like there's not a way to put out a fire. I like adding the levity in here. We could, if we got over our differences, control how it fails. Yeah, whatever. Why are you so prideful in the name that no one knows? You know it now, don't you? 66 people in the chat know the Acevedo name. There will be millions that know the Acevedo name. Was AOC running? I can't find anything on it. Yeah, it's a rumor that's percolating. So I think the article was written. So there's a couple of articles that are circulating that are stating that she may run. Right? So we'll see. I think that there's a good chance that she will. Acevedo, it's right there. Acevedo. You guys must keep it in the family. No, we don't. We conquer. We conquer. That's what we do. We take the women from your family, probably. Since you're a nihilist, we're like, yo, come over here with kings. We'll show you that there's a reason to live and to pass on the bloodline. I hope she does. It will be hilarious. Yeah, it would be. You're delusional, bro. No one is ever going to know your name. You know my name right now. You're not knowing, are you? You know my name. You probably think about me in your dreams. Why are you here all the time? I swear to God, I see you on my streams almost every day, but yet you don't like me. The trolls online that, come on here just to troll, I think that they want to be like the person they troll. Bro, we can tell you don't conquer. Okay, that's cool. Children raising themselves from birth is the future. Definitely not. I don't live in America. That's okay. Cool. You don't disclose where you live. That's fine. Bro gets no. Okay. All right. Honestly, the FYP just pushes random lives. Yeah, probably. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, dude. Polygamy is the future?
Yeah, I think so, at least in the Western countries.
I mean, a couple things about that. Doesn't that, breed degeneracy? And also, doesn't that, do you even have, one girlfriend already? So, how are you, or do you have multiple already? What's your actual situation?
Yeah, so I have a wife. Most of my life, though, most of my dating life, I've had more than one girlfriend at a time. But now I am monogamous. I love my wife. We have 3 beautiful children together, and hope to, God willing, have more children, grow our family. But I'm just stating this from from the pattern that I'm recognizing in the world. It's not something that I'm saying that I want. I'm not against it. I'm just saying that this is the trend in which I'm seeing and predicting to happen in the future. I could be wrong, but based on the decline in birth rates, based on the amount of people, and it's mostly, I would say, men who are too afraid to have children today, there is going to be an increase in women who do naturally, everybody wants children, but men, whether they realize it or not, do sort of lead the society because the woman wants somebody to follow. And so what's going to happen is a lot of women are going to end up childless. And so in order to pick up the population, what needs to happen? Well, the most logical way to increase the population fast is by having a man who's resourceful enough to then have more than one girlfriend or wife and procreate. So one girlfriend's out of commission for 9 months. The other one can go right now, bang. So now you can have 2 children at around the same time. You can have 3 or 4. So that's the way that you could increase the population very quickly. And I think that this is where societies default to once we go back to a more natural way of living, right? So if you look at tribes, a lot of tribes are polygamous. And if we look over at the East, right, a lot of countries over there still allow for polygamy. And it's just the natural default to things. Monogamy is sort of a social construct that was created in the West for good reasons, right? Monogamy's helped build up beautiful civilizations because that means the man who may not be as strong or as resourceful, but he's a hard worker nonetheless, and he's helping pave the roads, build the towers, etc., for civilization to exist. He, before in a hyper polygamous society, would probably not be able to find a wife. But now in a monogamous society, which is what we condone, he's able to. So now you get to have a lot more stable families, and you get to have men who have women, right? So that's awesome. So it leveled the playing field with a push of monogamy. But polygamy does appear to be the natural course of humanity. And I see as a society declines, it reverting back into polygamy. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I have no issue with it whatsoever. I'm just saying that this is what I believe is going to happen in the future.
I got you. It's your prediction. I thought I took it the wrong way then. But then I do want to know then, since that isn't the case in any major society right now, what do you think, if you were to predict, this is your prediction to happen, where would you see this first become legalized? And would it be America? Would it be a certain state in America? Or would it be some other country? Because there's other countries that are way more liberal, way more, open sexually than us, and they haven't done that. So I'm wondering if what would be your hypothesis?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the European countries because the Islamic religion is taking them over very quickly. And Islam's very open about their polygamous beliefs, as should Christians. Polygamy's all over the Bible. I don't know why Christians act like it's not. All the old patriarchs had more than one wife and concubines. So Christianity, if it was true and if it wasn't weak as it is now, it would already allow it, but it doesn't. But the Islamic culture, since it's basically taking over Europe, a lot of Western Europe, that is, we're going to see it probably arise in a European nation first, I would say. I don't know which one, but I would say a European nation first, and then there'll probably be some states that allow it. Canada will probably be after some European countries because Canada's also, and I'm not saying this is in a bad way. I think it's good that Islam's taking over these countries. I truly do. Bring some law and order. Bring Sharia law, baby. Take out some of the nasty stuff that's in our democratic system. I totally don't see anything wrong with it.
How many years into the future of it, let's say hypothetically, we're say 20 years in the future, and it still hasn't happened to one single quote unquote Western civilization, then at what point do you say I called it wrong?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I see it happening within my lifetime, and I plan on living for another 100 years. So I say if I don't hear it for if I don't hear it for
in 100 years, you're guessing that's going to probably happen in 10 years, right?
I would say it's probably going to happen within the next generation or two. So anywhere from 40 to 80 years.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're going that far out, then who knows? Yeah. I mean, do you believe in the singularity? I mean, who knows if we're even gonna?
No, I don't believe in the singularity.
What's your biggest reason that you think that AI can't mimic human intelligence?
Well, okay.
Do you think there's something let me just flesh it out a little better. Do you think there's something inherent in biomatter in a brain cell that you cannot mimic on a silicon chip or any other kind of artificial substrate?
Yeah, so I think that they won't be able to reproduce intuition. They won't be able to reproduce wisdom, and they don't have consciousness as we do. They don't have the spirit as we do. What they will do, however, I will say this, being that they are just hyper intelligent things, right? There's obviously artificial intelligence that are way smarter than we are on a pattern recognition level, on a logical level, on analytics, right? In the intelligence spectrum, they are much better than us at analytics, probably spatial as well, and probably probably all around they have a higher IQ than humans do. A lot of AIs, but what I would say is that what we're going to witness is the mimicking of certain traits, like what we call wisdom. They'll probably pick up on a pattern which they identify as wisdom, but they will never actually have that thing that's called wisdom from experience and age. They'll just simply get it from pattern recognition. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's kind of hard to articulate. The same as intuition. So they'll notice this thing, this behavior that humans have that is intuition, and they'll be able to mimic that pattern because they're so good at pattern recognition. And so I think that what's going to happen is that the AI is going to have just this crazy amount of pattern recognition skill that will mimic what humans can do very well, but it's going to be sort of this shell of a being with no spirit, no soul, no real consciousness. It's just a pattern recognition machine.
Okay, I think that's interesting. I haven't heard that take before, so I definitely want to think more about that, but I think I would argue back with that is if you can mimic it to a degree, let's say it's technically not it, you're saying it doesn't have that soul quality or whatever it is to it, but on the surface, a person couldn't tell the difference between the intuition of a machine and the intuition of a person. I would say if it talks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. If you cannot differentiate, it might as well just be that. And at that point, then I mean, I think you know the argument of the singularity as far as you can just crank up, say, as soon as you can get a machine to be just as smart, even if it takes the power of like the entire New York City or something like that, as soon as you can get a machine to be just as smart as one person, the whole point of it being, you know, a singularity and just exponential is that machines, as opposed to us, are scalable. And all you have to do is crank up the hardware, crank up the numbers, and then all of a sudden you have super smart. And I just don't see us like surviving that. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I think the human spirit is unbeatable because it's from God. So a machine can't beat God. The creation can't beat the spirit.
Would that shake your belief then? And I mean, right now that's definitely a good. Okay, I can see how that's like the underpinning of it. What if they do? What if for whatever reason they're able to make a machine that? Because for me, it wouldn't break my belief in God. Doesn't like hinge on being like smarter than a computer or more ingenuity than a computer. But because of that, if they do make an AI, like I don't stop believing in God. But for you, I'm worried that
so you have it wrong.
You're saying that like
so you have it
because like that's something they can never do. What if they do it? What if they literally do the things that you're saying they can't do? All of a sudden, that's what that was underpinning your belief in God. I would be worried about your faith at that point.
Yeah, I don't think that it's possible. I think that they can mimic it. And let's say a hypothetical that it does happen. It doesn't mean that humanity goes extinct rather. That's sort of my main point here, because with the singularity is that humans become slowly and gradually obsolete, and then they become one with machines to upgrade themselves, which is the ultimate goal of the singularity is transhumanism, right? Transhumanism and singularity go hand in hand. And I think that you will never be able to beat the human spirit because it is from God. So while there may be transhumanists in the world someday in the future, while there may be the appearance of this ever increasing, which there's a lot of evidence that it won't happen because IQ keeps dropping in the West precipitously, like insane levels. So it's who's going to make the singularity happen? It's not going to be the West if we keep going on the way that we're going. Professor Edward Dunton has a lot of good research on this. He has a YouTube channel where he talks about this a lot. He also has a book out talking about how like the average IQ has dropped like 20 points in the West. So that's scary. Just imagine if that keeps going, then we're down to like 70, 60 IQ. Anyway, so with that, I just don't see it happening from a technical point. And I don't see how it's even possible that you could upload your consciousness. That's totally there's no theory to it.
That's a whole nother other.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe that if I can upload my consciousness machine. I think even if you could make myself in the internet or something like that, like that wouldn't be me. It would just be a one-to-one copy of me. I wouldn't consciously experience what that's experiencing.
Right.
But
Exactly.
But as far as like the singular, and I don't want to. This is my last thing. I don't want to like hijack your talk.
It's all good.
I'm talking about
I like conversations like this. It's all good.
I do want to ask that what you were talking about a little bit earlier about the fusing with the AI or whatever, and slowly coming. But that I'm sure you're familiar. You seem like a pretty well-read guy. You know about the ship of Theseus?
I do not actually. I don't know what you're talking about.
So if I explain it to you, you're going to be like, oh, that. I didn't know it was called the ship of Theseus. The ship of Theseus, Jason and the Argonauts, they go and they have their ship, and a board of the ship breaks off, so they have to go back to the port and they replace the board. Over time, fast forward, blah 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 blah. There's only one. The mast is the only thing remaining that hasn't been replaced from the ship. And then once they replace the mast, is that still the ship of Theseus? If no, then when did it lose? When did it actually lose this? When the first plank was replaced? And you can do the same now. And that's an interesting argument, but you're like, it's not really useful. It is. It's a really important question when it comes to AI and transferring. Let's say your brain. You replace not to replace your brain with a machine, but let's say I can put a microchip in your brain, and I just have to take out one tiny, a fraction of your frontal lobe, and I put in that microchip, and then it actually makes you twice as smart. Just that one little thing that I was able to do. You're still you. You were still conscious the entire time I was doing this to you. No train of thought was broken. I replaced that one. Couple of brain cells with it. Are you still you?
Yeah,
that's a
really good question.
Well, how many brain cells do I have to replace until you're not you? Is it a magical 51, 49%?
Well, that's a really good question because, it seems like we both at least agree that there's a human spirit and there's a God. So would the changing of your brain change your spirit? Probably not, but it would change your body. It would change your ego. So it would change you in a way, would it not? I mean, whether it's an improvement or a degradation of yourself, it's still changing you in a way on the surface, on the material. But in its essence, no, I guess it's not. So if you go to that ship, I guess what you could say is that the idea of whatever that boat's name is, I can't remember, but whatever that boat's name is still exists, whether it's used from the same wood or not. So on a metaphysical level, the idea is always existing and it always is. And you're just bringing it into being with new material. I don't know if that makes sense or not, what I'm saying.
The pattern, so it's more so the pattern. The idea of the ship of Theseus is just the ship of Theseus, not so much the material.
It's both, though, right? There's a relationship between the metaphysical and the physical world.
Yeah, and you got your dualism that's almost impossible to solve. And
it's very hard. It's very hard to. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's a good question, though. I've never heard of that story before, by the way.
Oh, dude, yeah, check it out. It definitely breaks my mind when I think about it too much. But I definitely, and you seem pretty grounded in your faith. I am very, even though I do believe in a God, I don't know. I'm really shaky on my certainty in that.
I've been there, man. I've been there. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 30.
30. Okay. I'm younger than you. I'm 26. I went through that.
You sound a lot older.
I went through that in my early 20s and my late teens, where I was I was raised Christian, and I went through most of my 20s up until the past couple of years, pretty much agnostic and even leaning towards atheism. But I never got caught up in the crazy leftist ideologies. I mean, I did agree with abortion for some time. I did agree with some of the more far-reaching things, but I never went full woke, if you know what I mean. So I was always grounded in reality in a way. But I think what happens to most people is they realize that evil is real. So there has to be a good force in the world. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I was just struggling, like, who's real? Well, really, the thing that really did it for me was studying history, because I majored in history in college. And I'm just a history buff. Really, I love to read history. And so at the time, I was studying like the rise and falls of civilization, just very generic study over history. And I noticed that every single civilization that I could find had a religion that would build it up. A religion was like the impetus for a civilization. And I was like, there is something here. Even if it's bullshit, even if religion is total nonsense, humans need some form of belief system to create things that are great. And then that just led me down this whole path to where now, getting to where you're saying you're struggling with your faith, like through all that time, I was like, well, I really like Eastern, beliefs like Confucianism, Taoism, because I really love Chinese history. So I'm like, man, I really love those philosophies and those sort of, they creep on theology, but without saying God. And then, looking into Islam, Christianity obviously was always like the main foundation for my belief, because that's just what I grew up knowing. And it just became apparent to me every time I'd go searching other religions, I'd find so many parallels. And maybe this is confirmation bias. I'm totally open to admitting that, but so many parallels back to Christianity. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop searching, because there isn't enough time in one lifetime to go with all these different faiths and try to find the right one. If I want to truly, because there's theologians who study Christianity their whole life and they never understand Christianity in its entirety. Right. So it's like, you just need to pick one, right? It's just like, pick the one that resonates with you the most and follow that as best as you can. Right. So like, I still have some issues.
Like, it's more so you just gotta, it's more about sticking to something and following it than so much whatever you stuck with.
Exactly. Like, like one thing that I've just come to realize now is I'm starting to understand faith more as I get older, especially now that I have children. I have a wife. I'm the leader of my household, so it's like I'm starting to understand like faith in God a lot more. And like, I'm not going to have the time to sit around and contemplate all of these deep theological debates. I can't, I have shit to do. I run a business. I do this, right? So it's like, I don't have the time to sit and ruminate on these things. So there's some things that people may call me ignorant for that I'm just like, yes, as of right now, I accept that as faith. Like this is what's taught. For instance, I've struggled with the Trinity for a long time, man. Like, how can Jesus be God, but then Jesus is praying to God? Who is Jesus saying, why'd you forsake me, God? These are things that I don't really understand, but I know that there's some truth in it simply because of the way people vehemently defend them. Right? People only defend things to death if there's truth in them. Right? So it means, so I don't know, like, not that I'm trying to give you advice, just really more so talking about my experience. And, what I found is I've gotten older in my years, even though I'm still a young buck at 26. I don't know much about world. I don't know much about life. I don't know much about the world, but there are a few things I've really focused on, and religion is one of them.
What I'm surprised that you said you're in California, right?
No, I'm not. I'll just say I'm in the Midwestern half of the United States.
Okay, because I thought you were, and I'm like, dude, like for your own good, don't show your face. Like you're just gonna lose your job, wherever you are. Just don't do it. Like I'm scared. I wish I had the balls to do it, but if I ever try to get on a live and they say no face, no case, I'm like, oh, I am definitely like I do not want to I have a very good job and I would not want to lose it just because I have a wrong thing on something.
Right. I get that. I sympathize with that entirely. I'm sort of lucky in that I make my own business. Right. I don't really have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about anybody canceling me. People have tried to before for my TikTok lives. They've left nasty reviews on my business page on Facebook. I had to remove it. Didn't matter. Still getting more business. Doesn't matter. Still getting paid every month. Doesn't matter. Still feeding my family.
I'm talking about though exactly that. I wouldn't be able to deal with that. I don't know. I'm surprised. So
I get it.
Just get through it.
I get it, man. Like, I don't know. It takes a certain type of person, I guess, to be able to withstand that kind of shit. It's not for everybody. And and it's not me like bragging at all. It stresses the fuck out of me, dude. Where I'm like, I'm doing this because this is another business I'm trying to grow, right? MOT Media is a whole nother thing. We have a sports division. We have this where we cover cultural news, political news, debates, etc. Monday through Friday. So there's a bunch of things that we're doing here, and it's stressful, man. It's stressful.
One more thing. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to ask. I have an idea.
Yeah.
Because I want to have like a unique TikTok too. I want to, because I'm like pretty tech savvy.
Okay.
I'm thinking what I think would be really interesting and people would actually want to follow and like a lot is if someone. I mean, I like to scroll through the lives, and I like to go. If I go, honestly, I just like to play out devil's advocate a lot of times. If I'm on a right-leaning one, I'll get on there and I'll be the most woke person and I'll try to give them the best arguments to hear what they can say back. And I'll do the same thing for the left, except for the left, they just don't even like. I give the right a lot of credit of being like they don't just ban you on the spot a lot of times. Like,
right.
But anyways, I think it would be super unique to actually have. I call it like Thunderdome or something like that. And I would just set up cameras in a way they were like, so they would be like pointing at at screens of themselves because I have lots of computers, I have lots of screens that I can use, and just literally use an account so like say you have a conservative person with like 100 people watching them and debating anyone with that would come on, and then you have another one, the total separate room, liberal person doing it. I have, say, 4 accounts that I'm doing all this crap in. I join one as the person to go, and they basically, have you ever seen like prank phone calls where they prank phone call and just make the 2 people call each other? I would do that, but for in live TikToks where they'd be like, hey, so what do you, and you could actually get these, because a lot of times the people that are really good at talking, they don't go on other people's. They have host their own because they got the secret sauce and they don't want to go on someone else's.
Right.
But I would literally like make them fight each other in a way, like through the technology of like of putting them up, and they wouldn't even be knowing that it's happening. So do you kind of get where I'm going with that? I
do. It sounds pretty interesting, and I think that you should try it. See how it works. I mean, who knows? You don't know until you try it, right? I'm a big guy. I'm a big believer of action over thought. It's obviously you can see that I think about shit. I'm not stupid, but I'm just more action driven. I'm just like, you have what sounds to be an interesting idea. The only way you'll find out if it works or not is to do it. Just do it.
That's I have a million half-started ideas. I'm that guy, unfortunately, but I'm going to try and actually follow through this one. But
yeah, do it, man. Who knows? You could be the next TikTok superstar.
And you can be like, yeah, okay, all right. I'll let you go. See you.
All right, man. Peace. All right. So, yeah, that was a really good guest. The West isn't super individualist. It's more so small family driven, traditional, but great. No, it's not. It's very, very hyper individualist, especially right now. That's what's driving us apart. People don't want to uphold their family name. And that's bad. It's no bueno. Hey, how's it going?
Men have failed the West.
What was that?
Men have failed the West?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I know it's the men's fault.
It is. Who else do you blame?
It is.
Yeah.
It's because men like you always thinking that other men failed the West.
Okay.
Take care and accountability for your own life.
That's what I'm saying. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Cool. Self-accountability. Yeah. And there's none of that. There's no self-accountability these days, especially among men. Bro, you failed the West. No, I'm building the West. I'm over here making life. I'm over here making businesses, making money, being a productive member in my community. I'm over here spitting some knowledge, facts, talking good stuff on here, So it is what it is. I mean, if you don't understand that men have failed the West, I don't know what to tell you. SoCal might be full of individuals, but North Cal, there's still old-time loggers. Yes, of course, it's fractionalized, right? It's all over the place. There's some places that are still hardcore communal, Amish, Mormons. They're based. They get it. But then you get a lot of people, especially just pretty much almost anywhere in America, that are extremely hyper individualist. They're like, I need to go out and make my own name. I need to go out and make my own money. I need to get away from my family. I need to get away from my old friends. I need to go to this new city, adventure, do things that are going to better me, better myself. I can't have kids right now. I can't have a wife right now because I need to work on me. I can't do this because of me. I can't do that because of me. This is the hyper individualist I'm talking about. How is polygamy not supporting individualism? It's supporting communalism, or communities, right? Because now you're like, yo, I got 5 wives and I'm building up a huge family that will conquer, maybe. Assuming you get 5 wives, you probably have the ability to conquer over something in your area and be the leader. Could be a good thing. What's going on?
Hi there. Cool topics. My idea of socialism would be to enable individualism. Like if everyone can have their own affordable home and not have to live with their family, that would be ideal. I think that a lot of the times our families can be toxic or hurtful in some way, and that's probably why people want to run off to a city where they don't know anybody and have their anonymity. I don't see a problem with that. As long as you have a tax system that's working against inequality, what would be the problem with individualism?
Yeah, so from what you're describing, we're experiencing that right now, and it's collapsing the West. Family is wealth. Money is trash.
Family is not wealth for everybody. If you're born into a crappy family, how is that wealth?
Yeah, so obviously people get dealt a bad hand. Then you got to work your way out of it. But typically speaking, family is your wealth. Family is your connection to all your resources. And if you have a bad family, that really sucks. That really does. You've been dealt a bad hand. But there are things you can do about it. You could be the one that brings your family from unsuckery to success.
I don't believe you can do that. How would you convince people to change? How do you change people?
You can't. It's not on you to change them. They have to change themselves.
Okay, well, the family system is just designed to maintain a conservative society, though. It's you're basically arguing for social conservatism.
No, I'm arguing for a natural way of life. That's all. I think that people are more comfortable amongst their families. Yes, I get it. You can make the argument. Well, my family sucks. Sorry that you had a bad dad. Sorry that you had a weak mom and a weak father. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about that. The world sucks sometimes, okay? But if the society was running at its ideal level, the dads would be strong and good. The mothers would be strong and good. And then your grandparents would also be that way as well. So why would you not want to extract all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the life experience from your family members who will willingly give it to you, when in society they're like, what are you going to do for me? When your family's like, I brought you into this world, I owe you something, and then you're also going to help us out, right? It's a positive feedback loop. Of course families can suck, of course. But what I'm saying is that families can be a lot better.
Well, how is my family any more important than your family? Why should I?
Because they're your family
members more than yours.
Because they're your family. That's where you come from. They brought you into this world. I don't know you from Adam. I didn't bring you into this world. You didn't come from my loins. You came from your mom and dad. Therefore, you owe honor and duty to them because they brought you into this world. They gave you the beautiful, well, God ultimately gave you the beautiful gift of life, but then they facilitated that for you.
Born, so I don't understand. How could you owe?
You can't make that assumption. You don't know that to be true. That's an assumption that you make. We could ask to be born. We just don't know. You don't know that. There's no way to prove that we don't ask or we do ask.
Well, we certainly don't initiate our own birth. So
once again, that's something that you don't know. That's something you don't know. This is a theory.
I do know. My parents had sex. That's why I was created.
Yeah, but where does your soul come from? Where does your consciousness come from?
Consciousness, it's most likely a biological...
Most likely, you don't know. Therefore, my point stands. These are theoretical conversations we can have, and that's fine. That's fine. But these are beliefs of yours that you don't get to choose, you don't get to initiate, but you can't prove that that's true. Just like I can't prove to you that we can initiate and that we do choose who we go with. I can't prove that to you. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and one of your topics up there, if AOC was to run for president, she's a great person, but I mean, you've got a right-wing dictator trying to take over your country. I think that's very unwise to hope that she would run for president.
Who's a right-wing dictator trying to run for president, and it's a bad thing that AOC would run for president?
Because strategically, left-wing, especially in the United States, left-wing figures do not do well in a general election.
Okay.
So I would hope that she would not run. That would be my take on that one.
Who would you want to run?
I think Biden should run again. I don't think there's anyone else that is, centrist enough to win.
So you're for centrism, which gets you nowhere?
I think centrism works very well. It depends on the country. I think that you guys are so far right in America that you're kind of stuck with that. But if you're already starting at a sane starting point, centrism would be a good thing.
Yeah, well, you don't have a sane left-wing party. You don't have a sane right-wing party. And they're both working together. So it doesn't really matter. Centrism is what they aim for to begin with. It's to make people like you, maybe don't live in the United States, but it's to make people who have your similar persuasion feel somewhat good about having a centrist in office while still getting somewhat progressive ideas in there because, come on, we're moving into the future, right? So we have to get rid of some of these old ideas, compromise on your traditional values to fulfill the societal duty as we move into the future. So centrism is just a trick. It doesn't do anybody any good. You know, being lukewarm is very weak. Being lukewarm is being indecisive. That's the opposite of what you need. And being centric is essentially being lukewarm.
When the UK got rid of their Liberal Party and replaced it with a Labour Party, the Conservative Party became the natural governing party. And they've been losing elections ever since. So I think that is an argument against what you're saying.
Who won then? Who won the election, though?
Which one?
What you're describing, you know, the one that you're saying that this party came in, they started losing, but who won?
Conservatives.
Okay.
So if you replace a centrist on the left, if you replace the centrist party with a left-wing social democratic party, it seems to be that they lose the elections.
Okay.
It's a strategically weak place to be. It's much more intelligent to have a centrist party because it's more competitive. You keep the conservatives out of power and you gradually progress.
Well, that's my point. That's exact. I just described what you believe very well without you saying it. Literally, go back 10 seconds and I said that. That's literally what I said. I said that you keep society moving forward through this idea of centrism because it's more palatable for the masses, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I said. This is what I said that you believe. And this is what I said is wrong. Because it's not only is it like you're acting lukewarm, but you're being dishonest. Not saying that the Republicans aren't dishonest. Not saying that the Democrats aren't dishonest or the Tory party or whatever. Not saying anybody of them aren't dishonest, but you're intentionally deceiving people to push an agenda. Whereas at least the socialists, if they rise up, at least you know who they are by their name, right? Whereas the centrists are like, we're gonna go on both sides here, which is just deception and lukewarm, and it's nonsense.
Yeah, you get socialists over-promising and under-delivering because they run into economic realities once they get into office. So that's how they fail. And then you lose faith in them, and that's why you lose the elections.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just think that it's a disastrous idea to rely on the family, and that's why I came on. So it was nice chatting with you.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right.
It's definitely not a disastrous idea to rely on your family. Your family is strength. Family is strength. Family is wealth. Family is strength. Cash is trash in a way. You don't need money to live, but you need other human beings to help you live. We are in a bad situation because of the current system. Yeah, kind of. AOC won't be in Congress much longer. We'll see. We'll see. Depending on what family. Your family, dog. Who brought you into this world? Depend on them, and they should be able to work with you. A positive feedback loop. So when is the Civil War? I'd say that we're already in the middle of it. This is the beginning, actually. This is the beginning stages. I don't know when it'll happen, where it will take place, how it will be. Who knows? Those things are beyond my scope. I don't think polygamy is the future, and individualism is enforced by media and can be hurtful. Okay. AOC will be in Congress for 40 more years. Maybe she'll be the president for 100 more years. We need Trump back. He is the only way. Okay. Everyone needs to support Rand Paul and balance the damn books. No, I mean, Rand Paul has some decent points. Yeah, I'll give you that. Especially about balancing the books. But what good will that do you? Right? We all want debt. I'm not saying me, not saying you necessarily, but Americans want debt. Americans want their money to inflate. Why? Because they saw their grandparents buy a house for $20,000 and now it's selling for $400,000. I just watched a video from Sam Hyde and whoever he does his podcast with. They were reviewing or reacting to videos of baby boomers going to a watch auction and then seeing how much their watch cost, okay? And then one guy said, oh, yeah, this one Rolex here, whatever the hell it was, had all the paperwork, the authenticity, signed, date, etc., box, everything. The guy was like, oh, yeah, I bought this back when I was fighting in the war, and my drill sergeant or whoever the hell he was said, yeah, you should get that watch. It's a really good watch. And at the time, that watch was $150. So he spent $150 and he was only making $100 about a week or something like that. And so it would take him 2 weeks or at least 2.5 weeks to make that money for the watch. But he was like, I don't got anything else to spend the money on. I'm going to spend it on this nice watch. He bought the nice watch, took it to the auction, and the guy was like, yo, you know how much this watch is now? The guy was like, I don't know. How much is it? Well, with everything here that you have here, sir, that watch is worth $40,000. So Americans want to experience the same thing that their great-grandparents and their grandparents experienced. This is why we buy debt. This is why we want our house prices to go up. That way future generations can never own a home. I want deflation. Deflation will be maybe good for a little bit, but not. We are experiencing deflation, actually, in a lot of ways. So let's see here. She raised the money for her campaign. Yeah, that's just a rare item, increasing in value over decades. He's nothing to do. It does have everything to do with inflation because they had more people up there with similar watches that were 5,000, 10,000, 6,000, 4,000, 2,000, 10xing their money at least. Stagflation might happen. It might. The ruble has gone up 13%. Yeah, the ruble's crushing it. The Russians are crushing it. Can you imagine being married to 7 AOCs, LOL? Yeah, I know. Well, at least you would have a stable. You know what I mean? You'd have a stable of horses. Oh, man. All boomers need to relinquish power and step down. Probably. How can we have deflation while expanding the money supply? You're talking about prices. Yeah, so this is, I don't really feel like diving into this so much. I've covered this forever, for months now. You can just go back, MOT Media. I have, we're experiencing deflation, not inflation, as the YouTube. My income doesn't buy more now. Yeah. AOC is about as sharp as a bowling ball. Yeah. So, but anyway, why are the Russians crushing it? Because Biden passing their pipeline and closed ours. Well, they're crushing it on the war front. They're crushing it economically. The Russians are doing their thing, man. AOC, one of the smartest. AOC got back. She's attractive. I don't care what you guys say. She's a very attractive woman. Thoughts on? Don't buy it for a second, but we got to watch what we're saying because the the World Health Organization just said that they're going to be banding together with social media platforms to prevent disinformation regarding that particular topic. But I don't buy it. because of their oil. Yeah, I mean, their oil's huge. She's smart also. I don't really know that she's smart. Are you talking? Yes, we are. Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know that she's that smart, but she's definitely a good actor, right? She's definitely a good actor. Will other countries respect AOC? Definitely not. Nobody respects Biden. Nobody respected us when we had Barack Obama in office. Hard reality, especially the Chinese. She's very smart. Okay. Because we are not producing our own oil. Okay, yeah. Spreading misinformation on purpose, need to be fined. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're trying to do with the whole, new thing that's coming about, the new disease. Nobody respected Trump either. That isn't true. People respected and fear Trump. No one respected us because we always in someone's business. Not necessarily. They did laugh at him. No, they didn't. I'm telling you guys, they respected Trump. Trump was a wild card. He knew how to negotiate. He was like, oh, you want to fire nukes? We'll fire nukes first. Our nukes are much bigger. And then North Korea was like, okay, we're sorry. UN literally laughed at him. And now he was right about everything. So the UN was laughing out of fear. We all know Trump a criminal in person. Yeah, whatever. Everyone wanted Trump to run except against Hillary. Remember when she tried to guilt trip everyone for a grandma's house? LOL. Meanwhile, yeah, I remember that. Trump was an ardent businessman. Yeah. No one who had ethics respected Trump, the rich narcissist. I think no weak men respected Trump. I think all the beta males hated Trump. Trump wasn't right about anything. Okay, Matthew. Lost by 7 million. Yeah. What's your political position? I consider myself to be a Christian nationalist. I've debated between Christian nationalist or Christian tribalist. I don't know which one would be more appropriate. I mean, because I get the idea that a nation is just a group of people, but the way it's understood today is that, nations are pretty large, and that's why I like the term tribal a little bit better. We still talking about alphas and betas. We never talked about it to begin with. I think Trump, I like Trump because he was blunt. Me too. Trump was right about everything more now than ever. Not about everything. AOC is wannabe maybe. A Christian nationalist is insane. Call me what you want. So an overweight. No, definitely not. I am overweight though. I do need to lose some weight. That's one of my that's my biggest weakness. Okay, is that I am a glutton. I like sweets, and I like to eat. It's my worst quality. It's my biggest weakness. You guys know my biggest weakness. I like to eat a whole lot, and I do work out though. I've been working out every day. I've been going on about 5-mile walks, doing over 100 push-ups a day, doing some jumping jacks. About to get into kickboxing this week. So yeah, getting back into it. But yeah, I am overweight. This is true. You called out beta males. Memory impairment can be a sign of neurologic. I did call people who think Trump is too harsh a beta male, but we weren't talking about alphas and betas. I just said that there's beta males who do that. There was never a conversation about it. AOC doesn't stand a chance. If she does, maybe. Says she's a Christian nationalist. Okay. Doubt it. Your worst quality is that you like Donald Trump and label yourself a Christian nationalist. I don't like Donald Trump as far as him being president. I don't want him to be president again. I totally did not vote for him in 2020. But I don't see anything wrong with being a Christian nationalist. I think your worst quality is you want to be a young Jedi, but you do not have the Force. The Force is not within you. It's not. You sound like somebody who gets the Force pushed in you, but it's not within you naturally, if you catch my drift. AOC dumber than Biden. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. AOC was reelected. Dump wasn't. Yeah, true. Amen for the statement. Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. DeSantis 2024. I don't like DeSantis very much. But all right, guys, unless there's somebody else who wants to hop in here, any more questions, I'm about to hop off. But we will be here tomorrow about 1 o'clock again. And oh my God, no. Like the Michael Scott meme. No. That's what I think about Liz Cheney. Anyway, I don't even feel that way about AOC. You know, she'd be entertaining to watch. I find Biden very amusing. I found Trump very amusing. I think that Biden's pretty funny. AOC would be a great entertainment. She would just be awesome to watch. I hope AOC runs. That's what I'm saying, Jay Reed. That's exactly what I'm saying. It would be some great comedy. Like, we got to find some levity in these intense situations, okay? And with AOC, if she becomes president, guys, it's going to be hilarious. It'll be hilarious. It's not going to be good politically. It's not going to be good strategically. But at least we can get a good laugh at it, right? You know? That's going to be the really good thing about it. So we'll see. But all right, guys, I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Much love. Peace. Be sure to subscribe to everything MOT Media. Then we have MOT Media Today 1, which is Mick's primary channel. And then we have MOT Sports, which is James' primary channel. And then MOT Media everywhere else. So, all right, guys. We may be back tonight. We'll see. But definitely tomorrow. Much love. Peace.